Oh God, it's doing its thing, and hopefully now, with the best connection we've ever had. Oh yeah, Harris's music is coming up live. We are ready for another show. You there?
Nope, not here.
All right.
All right. Oop. Silencio.
Yep. Oh, that's right. You can't hear the music because you're not here.
That's correct.
Ah.
That's correct.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, I don't get any of the fun stuff.
The music just dropped and set down to the heavy beat. Oh yeah. Harris at his best here on June 23rd, 2021, show 53. It must be weird for you to not hear the music.
I'm used to it. Not really. Tis what it is. Tis what it is.
A little strange.
I mean, it's just silence, so...
All right, well, you know what? Seeing as we're remote, then I'm going to have to count it down. So I'm going to have to say probably...
That would help.
You know, it probably help. Every little bit helps. All right, we're going to go live here. I guess we'll go 10 seconds. I'm going to make the old...
10.
I haven't said 10 seconds in weeks, and now it feels so outdated.
Do you have chat up?
I do have chat up.
Oh, see, there you go. You're ready to go.
We're actually ready to go. So I'm going to say 5 seconds. 4,
5,
3, 2. Wait, you know what? I'm going to stop that for a second because it's about to kick into one of the best parts of the song. So give me a minute.
Okay.
Oh no, it's like scratching an itch. All right. 10 seconds. 5. And hello, everybody, and welcome to Not Your Average Show with Mike and Corey. How's everybody doing today? As I alluded to.
How's it going?
How are you? Oh,
good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, you know, it's June 21st. Oh, no, wait, 23rd, excuse me, 2021. And we're rocking and rolling with another great show for you today. We have on tap an 80k Aston Martin sim, which I'm going to openly laugh at because that's all I'm going to do when I read the article. Anyhow, we're also going to take a look at Lordstown and some of the truck makers. They got some major issues going on right now. And that's one of those spaces where, you know, they could have some trouble in not too distant future. And Hubble trouble, because apparently there's a glitch in the Hubble Space Telescope. And then Corey did some digging and found out some really great information on a telescope that was supposed to be around like 6 years ago. And it's still not around. Yeah. And that was supposed to be like one of the replacements. So there's that. Then we got Virgin Atlantic is also making its bid to jump into the Airtaxi market with a partner that we discussed just a few weeks ago. And finally, there's some big news on the mobile games horizon, and they're growing at an alarming rate, so much to the point that a major console gaming developer and actually publisher just made some huge moves there. So that's that. What's going on with you, man? How's your day going?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So is it raining by you yet? It just started raining here.
It's not. It's clouding up, which is no surprise.
No surprise.
But yeah, no rain yet that I can tell of.
The tropics are, you know, this is our season where basically we look at the tropics almost every day to see if there's going to be hurricane activity, but then we have the East Coast, West Coast sea breezes that combine, which usually means volatile weather here on the East Coast of Florida, and it could get pretty bad. So there is some rumbles of thunder and lightning in the area, so if we get disconnected, well, sorry. However, that said, you may, I don't know. So earlier today, Corey and I actually got the show set up a little bit differently, but we went in and streamlined some settings for our streaming setup. And apparently, hopefully this is going to work a little bit better because we made some pretty good tweaks and I'm pretty happy with that. So that should be nice. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, what else you got going on? Anything? Nothing? Yeah, good, bad, indifferent?
No. I don't know, man. Yeah, no, nothing
Okay.
really. Yeah.
All
No.
right. So should I just go ahead and kick it off?
Yeah, let's talk about this. Very
Oh,
yellow. It
oh,
looks
oh.
okay, but that's about where
That's
it
about where it
ends. Have
is.
at it, man.
All right, here we go, folks. So, as you all may or may not know, and if you've gone to this channel before, you might see an old video, and I do mean old from 4 years ago, of my actual racing simulator setup that I have here, which has actually gone through massive modifications, and I've been threatening to make a new video with the modernization with the curved screens and all the other things that I put on it over the last year and a half. And it is top notch. And I do consider myself an avid sim racer. I participate in online racing on iRacing. There's quite a few different games that I do have set up for it, and it does have some very boutique, and I do mean boutique, running gear, including the steering wheel from Sim Experience and HPP pedals, the PRX SEs, which are considered some of the top of the line racing equipment you can find in the simulation world. However, when a company like Aston Martin touts that they have an $80,000 curved racing screen simulator, my ears perk up a little bit, because 80 grand is about what I'd pay for a really, really good car in and of itself. Forget about the fact that I would pay for something in the sim world at 80K. And at 80K in the sim world, generally what you would find yourself purchasing is something that has some of the most robust 3 degrees of freedom, if not 6 degrees of freedom systems on board. Probably top of the line rendering equipment, meaning at this point, a 3090 would be probably what I would assume. Multiple monitors in the range of, I'd say, like 55-inch monitors covering you, and you'd be in some sort of monocoque chassis that replicated almost a Formula One design to a T. That's what 80K buys.
Yeah,
you.
1-to-1 scale, at least like half the scale, like 1-to-1 scale, but like half the not the aircraft. Sorry, half of the car. Something
like that, right? Because you and I both know 80K in today's world of gaming computer could get you the top of the line video card you want, top of the line monitors, top of the line processor.
Yeah.
And you would be you'd probably be able to still have, I don't know, 70K left over to actually go buy yourself a BMW. Okay.
Yeah. We talked in here, like Mike's alluding to, we talked a lot about graphic cards and silicon shortages and tons of stuff, but 80K, if somebody said 80K, go build yourself a sim for 80K. Holy moly.
So
okay, I'll find what I need, right? And make it happen.
So I'm Froggy,
but
I'll leap. Yeah. Aston Martin just dropped an 80K turd. Okay, it's an 80K sim turd. It doesn't even have motion. Its claim to fame is a 49-inch screen, and that it's got precise seating like you would get in the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Okay, which fine. Which any good sim racer would tell you that if you turn around and build an aluminum chassis or something out of 80/20 aluminum, you could go out and get a Sparco. You could go out and get like any nice, really good racing seat you'd want in like any format of any racing car you could possibly imagine.
Sure.
And then on top of it, the internal specs, okay, direct drive steering wheels are all the rage right now in sim racing, meaning that you don't have any belts, you don't have anything else. It's a direct drive experience. Okay, I'm looking at the equipment. They do have a fancy wheel on board this thing, but however, everything else to me seems just to be passively low grade. It doesn't really break any barriers that would warrant this massive price of where they're trying to place this thing. And then even sadder than that is the fact that it doesn't even have updated guts to be the best racing sim experience you could possibly have. But the guys that made it, okay, which is these base performance simulators, which are the people behind the marketing campaign to make this Aston so expensive, they are actually leaders in some parts of the sim industry with the equipment that they make for the actual sim industry.
Yeah. It looks like I mean, I admit I haven't seen this company before. Sure. I'm not as much in this space as you are, but I mean, I haven't seen this before, but they look like they've got the equipment and the know-how, plus they've got looks like some race car drivers on staff, or at least, consultants.
Sure.
So it looks like they make good stuff, but then
they make this turd of a racing sim and try to pass it off at that. I mean, so, and I don't mean to be.
Go ahead. Yeah. No, I was gonna say, there's probably buyers out there who would love to have an Aston Martin branded simulator.
I agree.
In their house, and they don't want these full motion, not full motion, but actual motion sims that are more accurate.
Okay.
So this may be catering to their
Oh, it's
potential
catering. It's
buyers,
catering. It's
maybe.
catering. Okay. It is. Okay. It is catering.
But yeah,
But they're doing it
yeah.
at a price where, so if you're going to talk the AM, it's called the AMR dash C01. That's what they're talking about, what they call this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's nothing in this device that actually speaks to me at the point where, well, yeah, it has some great curves, right? It really does have some great, it looks fantastic, right? It's got carbon fiber. It looks really nice. But if you're going to get your bang for buck, and even what they say in the article here is that most people would skip on this thing because they've only sold 20 of them, because most average gamers out there could probably put something together that's better and stronger. But I think when you torch a brand, and I do mean torch, okay, just for a sexy sale appeal and something that the average marketplace doesn't need, I just have to ask, are these people just that badge happy? They really need the Aston Martin simulator experience, or do they just not know the difference and, Aston's pulling a fast one on them?
I don't know, man. I think possibly it could maybe be summed up by the quote. Literally, there's a quote in the article from James Guess. He's one of the managers at the base performance simulators. It literally says, quote, "The idea was to have something that's beautiful," end quote. Like,
okay,
that's the idea.
Okay.
So, okay, again, I mean, it's like you said, don't think we're sitting here just to straight bash everything about this, and that they have sold some, right? They said they're going to build only 150 of these, and they've sold, what'd you say, 20 or? Yeah. So okay, so they sold a few. I mean, yeah, I guess it's I guess we're coming to this, on a channel, coming to this with you guys to kind of speak of the tech and like the why and stuff, and it's it's just like,
all right.
If you guys have been following us long enough, we talked about the NVIDIA cards and the shortages and whatnot.
Sure.
Just to give you an example, this has a 2K screen, 120 hertz screen, so it's not even 4K. It's not even the 240 hertz, and it's got an RTX 3070 in it with an older i7 card. I mean, it's just like,
it's not even worth it.
What? Like, what? I'm confused.
So I'm looking here. I'm looking at this system that they call the Blade, that's also for sale on BPS, and even their prices are completely astronomical. They want 22,750 pounds for what seems to be your basic stationary run-of-the-mill simulator. So anyhow, gotta wrap this one up. It just, to me, it's ridiculous, right? Those prices, that performance, not even worth it. No? Would you agree? I agree.
Yeah, no, yeah, I just found the Blade you're just talking about, and what's really interesting about the Blade? Now that I'm seeing
it's the same shape.
It is the guts of the Aston Martin.
It is, and it's still overpriced.
Like, they just probably made some carbon and put it over this.
I don't know.
And I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's still like, okay, all right.
All about.
Hey, cool. I mean, they look like they make good stuff. So there you go. Don't think we're bashing them too much, but it's just
all about the upsell.
The application is kind of like,
Exactly. So hey, folks, remember, like, subscribe, follow. I don't normally just come out and open fire on a product and be like, this is garbage. But sometimes I just find things that are just overbadged, overpriced, not worth the quality. And we really do have to sit in here and come in and make another, video on the sim, because if I didn't pay even 1/10 the price of that for what I put together, and I can tell you it's better than what they got. So like, subscribe, follow, and we'll bring you, and if you want to see more videos on the sim, you could go back. I think there's the old sim video there. And if you want to see me do a new one, leave a comment below and we'll get on that. So there you go. All right, with that said, with rants over, I think Corey's going to take us into space, right?
Take you up to space. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. So this next one comes to us from space.com. It's an update on what's going on with the Hubble. And so if you guys don't know, the Hubble Space Telescope is a telescope that's been up in orbit basically since the Space Shuttle Discovery put it up there in 1990. April 25th, 1990, it went up there. and it got some amazing images for us over the years. One of the advantages of having a telescope in orbit, not on Earth, but in orbit, is it gets a bit of a clearer view because it doesn't have to pick up light and images through Earth's atmosphere. And so that's one of the reasons why they put stuff in orbit that don't look down instead, but look up and away from us and see what else is going on out there in space. So that's kind of a brief rundown on the Hubble, but it's had some issues over the years, and it had some upgrades as well, and been repaired by previous astronaut missions. And now, of course, you guys know that the shuttle program is done, and so things operate a little bit differently, of course. But Hubble's still been up there getting some good images, but now it's been having some issues. And throughout NASA trying to troubleshoot, they think it might be a bit of a longer problem. Maybe some of the literally it says the ongoing tests maybe think that the teams identified that the actual root of the problem could be possible memory modules. If you've ever built a computer,
oh no,
freaking memory modules going bad is a pain in the butt. But there you go. So maybe it looks like they have memory errors with the Hubble. So not good. If you just Googled, and I can get a link for it and put it down there. But if you just Googled even Hubble images, man, there's some really pretty images of what you can find out there in space. One thing to maybe note: the Hubble sees invisible light and near infrared. So what kind of wavelengths it's picking up. And I wanted to just dovetail that right into the next thing. To just a quick mention about the next telescope that we're trying to get up there, the James Webb Space Telescope. If you guys haven't heard of that either, it's I got some links to that as well down there, talking about kind of what it is and a little bit of its history. It's also had some issues over the years, just even getting into orbit. It's not been deployed yet. It's actually supposed to go up there in 2007, and then had a bunch of issues with over budget stuff, and then some audits from the government to kind of slowed it down. And then now, most recently, actually, they are they had some testing issues with the shield that shields its view from the sun, because it's going to sit in a bit of a different place in space than the Hubble does. The Hubble's in orbit around Earth, and the James Webb Space Telescope is a bit further away at a Lagrange point. I won't go into that, but it's a bit further away, and it's going to sit over there.
Right.
But anyway, it's supposed to go up. Hopefully, we hope soon. Currently, this kind of goes right along with what we talk about on the channel. It's supposed to go up on the Ariane 5 rocket, and actually, that coincidentally is also causing some slowdowns, as there's some fairing issues just recently with the Ariane 5 system. So, still delayed. But the James Webb Space Telescope hopefully goes up soon. And kind of the last part about that before I pass it off to you again is that the James Webb Space Telescope will actually see in infrared. So it's going to be a little bit different wavelength of what it picks up. It's going to enable to see kind of stuff that's a bit further and a bit older away from what the Hubble can see. So excited to see what that is. I got some links down there to show you kind of how big it is. It's a lot bigger. It's going to have a lot better resolution and a lot better field of view. But anyway, it's cool. Looking forward to it, but not up there yet.
It's sad that Hubble's having problems that might go, finally put it out of operation, because, literally Hubble's been around for so long, and people have taken a great advantage of what it's been able to provide us in understanding the perspective of human beings in the universe, right? That goes without saying. Honestly, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, but I think there's that one image that shows where they took different snapshots, and it's filled with galaxies and universes, and it's literally plastered all over the world. I've seen this one all over the world before, and sad for Hubble, but
some of them are just
amazing. What's that?
Some of them are just amazing. They take a whole bunch, stitch them together, and you get these like amazing images.
They're gorgeous, but the stranger part is so Corey's going through the research on this, right? And he's like, hey, there's this James Webb Space Telescope. And I was like, oh, okay, James Webb. What? And he goes, this can't be right. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, it says that that they started research on this back in 2007. And I was like, no,
well, it's supposed to go up.
It's supposed to go up in 2007. I said, well, I remember wasn't there a big hubbub about the fact that the Hubble replacement really wasn't ready yet, and that there were some setbacks. Is this the one? Yeah. And he's like, it might be. And then
I had to just double check the dates, because I was like,
double checking the dates. I think we've done a disservice in the space community we lost a major radio telescope. What was it, in January or February?
Arecibo, yeah.
Okay. So everyone that has their dutiful connection to the universe and thinking that, we have to protect this planet. Well, you also have to understand what's going on outside this planet in order to have a better perspective of what's going on inside this planet. And this thing is it, you don't want to lose Hubble now. That's for sure.
Yeah. It would be nice to have it up at least until this new one gets up.
That would be great. So I don't know if that's going to happen though. That's going to be a challenge. I think at this point, it sounds like they're going to have some. And the other part was the Ariane rocket. Now I had a huge question because my first comment score was, this is going up on a Falcon Heavy, right? I would think it would. No, nope. And the Ariane has been its own second stage of delays. Man, it kind of ticks me off a little bit,
Yeah. Like, I do wonder, I'd have to dig a bit further into it, and maybe some of our viewers would know, but I do have to wonder why the Ariane 5, it probably was designed to fit in that payload compartment for a while now, and we know now this thing's been in development for quite a long time. So, I mean, I'd have to take a look at some more stuff like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Leland Hubble is on the moon. What? That was a comment from James Shelburne. Leland Hubble on the moon. Is that another? Was that something that we delivered? Was that another? Because I remember there was one other one that went up at some point, but I don't recall it. Right? Let me take a look at what you're referring to. Let's see. So let's see. Telescope named for mother of Hubble, Nancy Grace. No. I'd have to do more research on it. So land. Oh, okay. Land Hubble.
Oh, landed on the moon. Oh, so just kind of let it sit there and
could make a Hubble museum up on the moon. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be neat. David.
Rather than let it, well, I mean, at this point it'd be hard to get it on the moon without it breaking up.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, if it falls from orbit here, it's still not gonna, land very well.
Yeah, true. This is also true. Well, don't want to see anything bad happen to Hubble, so there's that. Why don't you wrap that one up, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. So thanks for that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Very much appreciated. We enjoy bringing you stuff, all space and aviation and all that. So. Keep track of this, and we'll keep bringing you cool content and try to bring you some expanded stuff as well. So thanks so much.
Yeah, so I think James also said a beautiful in our wallets. Yeah. So here, there's something else going on with wallets somewhere across the world. And, Corey and I like to follow EVs, EV technology. And obviously, we're definitely into the Ford F-150 Lightning that's just been launched by Ford, their electric version of their most popular selling vehicle in the United States of America, which is the Ford F-150 pickup. On top of that, we're like anxiously anticipating the launch of Cybertruck, because to us, that is one of the vehicles that I think are going to make or break the segment in electric automobiles, especially getting into the truck market.
Yeah. Yep.
But then there's the one that people kind of forgot, which is Lordstown. And well, things are not really going well for the folks over at Lordstown, because it has come to public knowledge that they might not be able to make the production needs that they've actually been stating. And there's been long delays in them actually bringing something to market. And then on top of it, well, the SEC is getting involved, because according to this article on CNN Business, the Lordstown's executives actually sold a lot of stock prior to some of their bad news leaking out onto the marketplace. So so it's facing more scrutiny after several of its top executives sold off millions of dollars in stocks. So John Vu, who oversees the Lordstown propulsion division, sold 99.3% of his shares, and then netting himself, I guess it was about $2.5 million. Lordstown president Richard Schmidt sold 39% of his vested shares and made $4.6 million. And other executives sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock too. And this is on March 17th. They also, Lordstown Motors, announced a net loss of $106 million. Okay. Oh, excuse me, $100.6 million. Excuse me. And they brought in just $2.6 million in sales. So I don't think it's going to be very long before I think we see even more bad news on the horizon, because there are people in the EV communities now that are expecting them not to be able to deliver on the Lordstown truck itself. And I think, Corey, what this spells for the marketplace is one more market that they can't hit. I mean, Lordstown almost had a sure thing going into the electric truck market, and it looks like they're going to be dropped out of this before they even reach the word go, I guess. What's your take on that one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the same. I mean, we, on this channel, we like to keep track of all the things that are EV related and upcoming technologies and whatnot. And Lordstown was kind of one that we had on the radar, but didn't follow quite as closely as we maybe could have. But again, it's one that's still there. I mean, they took over a GM company or GM factory in Ohio, and that's where they were doing their operations. And it kind of looked like, okay, maybe they'll have there's repurposed factory, maybe it'll be a good story, they can make some cool trucks out of it, obviously made in America and all that good stuff. But it just seemed like they've had some issues more than once, and now a bit of well, I don't know if it's scandal or not, but the people that are in charge of big parts of the production are selling off stock that a little bit eyebrow raising, and then yeah, some more bad news on the other end, the business end. I mean, I think Mike, I was just showing you one earlier where Lordstown had lost a few of the contracts they had with other businesses.
Yeah, they did
to market them. I can pull that up too, but yeah, it's not just really that some of the people in charge were selling their stocks before problems kind of came out. It's more than just that. It's even just that the business itself isn't doing great.
And there's even more to that, because I just pulled up Lordstown's website, and you would think that they would make the adjustments for understanding that the Ford F-150 Lightning is coming to market, and instead they're comparing their endurance version of the vehicle still to the Ford F-150 Lariat four-wheel drive version. Okay, which just goes to show me that they're really not focusing on what's actually happening in the marketplace. And that is really probably going to torpedo part of their business efforts now that the Ford F-150 Lightning is actually going to be in the marketplace. Let's face it. Tesla's going to hit this same part of competition coming up, because Tesla knows that the Ford F-150 now has the opportunity to make it to market faster than them. And on top of that, the Hummer is not far behind. So GM and Ford have realigned themselves to possibly push a company like Lordstown to the brink of not having that sales material that they really were counting on, just by being the first electric truck to marketplace. And look, in a lot of markets, being first is usually great, right? In this particular case, when the F-150 Lightning comes in, that kind of kills your share and your representation of what you can actually sell to the public. So I think we're looking at probably what might end up being the demise of Lordstown. Maybe. I like, maybe they'll make it through. Hey, look, we also looked at, what was it, Kano the other day, and I thought that I thought their trucks were way better looking as well. So just for comparison, I thought their trucks were beautiful. And I thought that they probably had a better representation or a better opportunity to make inroads, because just the sheer beauty and the design of their truck is different. So, and we'll see.
I thought it was cool looking. We were talking about that because one of their main designers moved from that company to another company. So it was kind of like, interesting.
Move to Apple.
I mean, and actually, now that we're talking about that, just I'll add one more thing, actually. You remember Rivian?
Yes.
What's up with those guys?
I haven't poked into I haven't done a lot of, work on them recently. I know that there's still people are excited for them, but I'm not really sure what they're doing, what they're up to at this level. But it's probably going to be more to investigate. So, interestingly enough. So, hey folks, like, subscribe, follow. Again, for Lordstown, what does this spell for the EV truck market? Not really sure. But it can't be good when the SEC steps in and says, maybe they knew there was bad news coming and they all just dumped their stock. So, and it happens. Guys have done this before. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yep. So yeah, it might just be, for us just to know if you guys are into, stocks and investing, maybe to know that at least they're not a good place to put it. You probably already know that. But then that kind of reinforces the market position of the ones that are still remaining.
Absolutely.
Of course. So,
and I mean, look, I guess it goes without saying, right? All you have to do is basically build the EV truck, and it should sell if it's capable at being something, right? Again, we could talk about the nameplate exchange all day long, but sure, if you get the truck out there, it should sell, unless it's just garbage. So yeah, who knows? All right, I think you're going to talk to us now a little bit more about something that dovetails into what we talked about last week, right?
Yeah, I can do
All
that.
right,
Yeah, we can talk about
go
that.
ahead. You got the floor.
Yep. So the next one here comes some news about Virgin Atlantic, and you guys may remember we talked about a company that is doing EV VTOL stuff called Vertical Aerospace. We talked about them a few shows ago, and we talked about their aircraft, the VAX4. And we went over that. That was kind of a segment there. Well, this kind of dovetails into that to say also that Virgin Atlantic, they're exploring a partnership with Vertical Aerospace for flying taxis. And the way that Virgin appears to be going about this, they're not so much going about it as like transportation between vertiports for just general transportation and movement around the city or a city center or stuff like that. They're actually seemingly going about it to move people to and from major airports. Like literally, that's the more of the thing. And we know if you know about companies such as like Blade Helicopters, they do that kind of thing as well. There'll be companies that have helicopters and they'll operate them as taxis to and from major airports for a service. So not a new thing to do with aerial vehicles, but that seems to be what Virgin Atlantic wants to do with them. So I will see. I mean, the second, I think two parts of that, right? Is that a segment that has people in it? Yeah, that's something that people do. But I think again, we talked again about the Vertical Aerospace and its design, the VAX4. So
where's it going to fit in?
I don't know. It'll have to have the same old problems. You got to have somewhere to put it. It's got moving rotors on top. How's it going to be powered? Yeah, all the same. So
here's
questions.
my thing. You remember, I guess it was about 12 years ago, right? 12, 13 years ago, everybody was on the very light jet craze, right? And Diamond and all these other clips, and everybody was jumping in on the very light passenger jet, and they were going to revolutionize the fact that if you had enough money and wealth, you would be able to go on an exclusive jet the size of what you needed to get from point A to point B, roughly 1,500 miles being the max range, and that it was going to change the marketplace. And then the economy collapsed, and that model just fell apart. Then you had these. Then you could buy fractional parts of a jet, which people found to be, well, we could take existing jets, which could last for a very long time, and purchase into them.
Yep.
I'm starting to see a small flaw in some of these. Let's connect small airports to small airports, right? Because let's face it, how many places have small airports to small airports that need to be connected? Well, you might consider like Midway O'Hare, right? You got New York, LaGuardia, JFK. Maybe you got some out in California and other places. All right. So that business plan, how much saturation is it going to take to really quell that marketplace that currently only ultra rich people and mostly very, very wealthy people get on a Blade or something else? That cost prohibitive factor right there is going to be indicative to what really materializes in this marketplace. So like you, I'm very curious as to all those other added on costs of, well, now you got to build what? Like 6 landing pads at JFK, and another terminal for Virgin to handle their passengers that are going to take this. I think that some of this is a little ambitious.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It depends to see what they're thinking they're going to do here. I mean, it is Virgin Atlantic, so they've got the infrastructure behind them in terms of like where they might already operate. So maybe these things would, at least at the airport, where they would land, they maybe just operate off the tarmac or the apron wherever the rest of Virgin operates. If it's got, I mean, you're not gonna, let's face it, you're not gonna land this thing at an airport and then pull it up the jetway and it's gonna land at one of the big terminals, the big gates.
You can't do that.
It's not for that, right? So it'd have to come into maybe like a normal GA, not GA, but a GA terminal, and then I guess you'd be trucked to the main terminal. I don't know. Those are all like kind of in the weeds about it, but I guess what we're trying to get at is what's it actually going to look
when
like
they do it.
when Virgin tries to implement? That's what we're kind of
Sure.
trying to visualize. How's this actually going
So
to work?
on top of that, look, United
Yeah.
has a service sector that they call global services, which means that they will literally truck you. You don't go back into the terminal. You get off
Yeah.
literally at the gate. They usher you into an AMG, a Mercedes, and then they usher you to your next flight, and you don't literally see the inside of the terminal. And it's a very executive class service, right? And I can see United kind of pulling that off with something like this. However, what's really interesting to me is that, well, we did say that Vertical Aerospace was teaming up with, I believe, of all people, Rolls-Royce to bring out their version of what this was going to be. On top of it, it looks like they're also going to float their chance to possibly be on the New York Stock Exchange. So there were flotation of a value of 2.2 billion, but the caveat there is they haven't flown anything yet. And I think that's a massive valuation for a company that hasn't really produced an actual vehicle yet, or had successful trials that have actually proven that it's going to fly, and that there's a marketplace that's actually going to develop as a result of it in the near term, right? That's sketchy.
I mean, we're kind of in a big topic here about all the VTOL companies that have raised a bunch of capital. When we've done our research and looked, and none of them have, I won't say none, that's a generalization, but many of them don't have full scale flying
No, they don't.
vehicles that have already had people on board.
Right.
Right. So there's
that's a lot.
I don't know. Yeah, this is yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's.
Let me take that one. I can see that you're uncomfortable discussing that part of it, because I'm going to say one other thing. Okay. Well, but I have to, because look, you learn a lot more when you finally put people on board these things, right? And when you load them differently.
Oh yeah.
And what your center of gravity is going to do, and what life limited parts are going to wear out sooner rather than later, depending on how you loaded this aircraft and its common uses, right? So there's so much more to be developed in this entire place, in the conversation of what the eVTOL market's going to look like. I'm just open to the conversation about the challenges that are available to all the manufacturers, okay? Everyone included. But the difference is that to be staking it on the fact that you think that the market already exists, that people are going to just jump on board for these short hauls. And look, I think that this is going to be more for a unification device for other communities. So to see how this marketplace develops, hey, if you haven't paid attention, inner cities have not really been the most popular places that people want to live recently after the pandemic. Matter of fact, people are spreading out and they're broadening their horizons. I think that marketplace might change as appetite might change. So we'll see. We'll see how that happens. I just throwing that out there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it all comes back, like I said, that there's not people on board real world operations, whether it's wear and tear or whether it's batteries. If people go batteries, a lot of these manufacturers aren't going at batteries yet, which is probably a good idea as of now because of battery tech. Yeah, it's just something we're interested to keep track of.
And I want to see how big these valuations are really going to be. I really want to see what's going to be the max valuation of these companies, how they achieve their overall value. Because look, I think of this from a Shark Tank perspective. Like you walking in and, Mark Cuban being like, so you're saying you have a 2.2 billion valuation. Well, we see this as being this size market. So how many people have you flown and what's your revenue? None.
Zero.
Okay. Shark Tank moment. That's when I see, like Mr. Wonderful turn around and go, get the hell out of here. You're coming to us with what you think is going to be a market, but you don't have a market yet. So everybody's running to S-Packs and getting their cash from certain areas. And I'm not sure if that's the most successful way to do it. I think you have to go grassroots with this one, but that's my feeling. So hey, should we outro on that one as to where people? Yeah, that's good.
That's just
I've made Corey well beyond his comfort level.
No, it's just it is what it is.
Anyhow, like, subscribe, follow. We're gonna continue to hammer the EV market and just be open and honest about what we see the challenges are. We do have a video of what some of the challenges we think are going to be in this marketplace, and I think we're going to have to revisit that, as now we've seen even more development of what people feel is going to be the next step in EV tolls and air taxi. But it's worthy of the conversation. So anyhow, we got some final stuff for you today, and it's going to be more about investment in gaming, a little bit more. And I'd just like to take you guys on what's really been the fallout from what E3 was this year. We didn't do a lot of E3 coverage because we were busy, but it seems that according to Axios, the mobile gaming gold rush is on, and I'm really not surprised by this. But there is one really interesting caveat, something that they put inside the bottom of this article that I thought was ingenious, and that is basically they're watching in the marketplace as EA has been jumping through the hoops to spend big dollars, and we're talking about $1.4 billion to buy Playdemic, which they include. I guess they produce Golf Clash from Warner Brothers of all companies, and then EA has also jumped in last month to pay another $2.1 billion to buy Glue Mobile. Okay, and there's also they're talking to a couple others that they're actually actively investing in. Right. The other part of it is that Activision and their Blizzard Call of Duty line has actually made a successful jump to now the mobile platforms, going to be rivaling Fortnite and PUBG and everybody else out there. But there was something else that was hidden in this one as a gem. Everybody wants in on the marketplace. And mobile gaming companies are finally making the shift into actually doing console games because they see an opportunity. The difference is not everybody has a console, but just about everyone has a portable gaming device inside their pocket. And I think that that's going to transverse where I think people don't understand that you're about to see something happening in the gaming market where they're now expecting that mobile gaming is going to generate more revenue than any other platform, and as it has successfully. But I think you're going to see that paradigm shift where I'm going to throw it out on a whim. Okay? This is what I'm going to say. And I could be completely wrong. Grade A titles are done. I don't think anyone's going to pay maximum dollar for a console title anymore when they see that they could probably release the title for free and make more money on the long run. People having to pay subscription fees or something else based on the fact that games are just changing. Or am I completely wrong?
No, yeah, my 2 cents add on. It goes right on to what you said about that last line there. It talks about the fact that, while, as you said, not everybody, or as the article says, not everybody's got a console and uses consoles for gaming, but tons of people, almost everybody's got a smartphone, something you can install sideload apps on at least. And I think on that end, just thinking about it, it makes total sense that they want to go mobile with their main titles, but also mobile with a at least partial free-to-play option, because everything's going microtransactions, right? That is nothing new. And if you follow gaming microtransactions, that is a huge topic because some countries overseas as well, like straight up, they have rules on how companies can do microtransactions for games. And while we don't have that here just yet. So, but the point being is, this is something that's not going to continue, or not going to subside. It's going to continue. And I think, me, when I hear free to play, I immediately have a bad taste in my mouth. Not always, but only for some of the fact that a lot of these games that have been free to play lately are like, quote, massive multiplayer, free to play. But they're the ones that are like, let's say, Fortnite or PUBG. They are the oh man, brain just went blank. The battle royale modes. And there's been some, if I'm not mistaken, I might be saying this wrong. I might get it wrong, but I think it might be mistaken that one of the games that's been announced recently said it would not have a battle royale mode. Wasn't that?
I think it was Division. Battlefield? Maybe it was Battlefield. And I'm not really sure, but there's something else that I wanted to add there, because I don't know if it was the new Battlefield or if it was the new Division. But you also got to remember that Fortnite was pulled from the store front from Apple because they opened up their own microtransactions inside their own community, which cut Apple out of the revenue stream, right? And
and that was a legal problem with Apple, not with like the U.S. laws in general.
No, but there's that. But then also EA got themselves in hot water with the Star Wars franchise 2 years ago when they basically microtransacted Star Wars Battlefront to the point where people were so irritated they said that they didn't want to play it. But I'm gonna go one further, and I'm gonna say, look at what happened to Cyberpunk, because it went the other way. It was a grade A title that got pulled from the storefronts of both, I think it was Microsoft and PlayStation, because the title didn't match the quality for the systems that it needed to play on in the console market. So so I think this little conversation that EA has started within itself about what's going to be investable in the future of gaming. This is massive because it actually opens up their hand and says, well, we're a little late. We weren't really into the early onset of online, or excuse me, mobile gaming in this particular platform.
Yeah.
But now we're just going to gobble up the guys that we see that are worthy of having value. Perfectly legitimate as a market strategy. Just now, let's make video cards accessible to us in the PC gaming marketplace as well. Or for the fact of the matter is that you can't get gaming consoles right now. So, I mean, how much worse could you spell for console and PC gamers when you can see that obviously the last move in the entire thing is, why do you think everybody wants to push their cloud gaming services to an iPad and offload the processing from the home units? Because it vertically integrates themselves again with everything else that's going on. So.
Yeah, the game will always play great no matter what your user is using on the other end, which means their credit card, which is just as good as everybody else's, also works, right? They got this old iPad that runs just as good as the new guys because it's all cloud.
Why not?
He's just as apt to take his wallet out. So
it's really remarkable to me to see that. I mean, to me, I can see them literally, checking off boxes and being like, oh, we're gonna totally dominate iPads in the next 5 years. And then, for Microsoft, even better, because turn your Surface into an automatic gaming machine with all the latest titles, and it's all cloud rendered. Oh, wait, we already have that. That's so easy to do.
Yep, we just talked about that a few shows ago. That they didn't say Xbox is dead, but they definitely said we're going into cloud gaming hardcore. And it's like, well, okay,
I would
okay.
I would imagine the latest, though. I think this is also, EA doesn't have a play in cloud gaming, and I think that right now they've got to rely on everybody else to do that for them. So why not go after the mobile market?
Yep, everybody's got that in their pocket.
Sure. Makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. What do you guys think? You guys play mobile games? Because I do. I'll admit.
We used to play Dominations together. If I'm ever traveling, one of the nice reasons why I got the bigger iPad also was because now that you can hook up an Xbox Bluetooth controller to it, and I've got a few minutes that I'm not actually working on something else, you're damn well right, I game. So sure. Mobile gaming's huge, and as long as you can get more gaming time in on a screen that's not having to be tied to a console, the better. So, even though I still have a console, hey,
I also have one, but admittedly, my Xbox is a media PC.
I can only tell you that I have played more MLB The Show because it finally came out on the Xbox.
No, I know. I know. I
am totally into that game. I put the Yankee game on in the background, and I turn around, I play some show, and I'm totally into it. So James comments, and he says he's never really been a mobile gamer. But have you? I mean, Cut the Rope and all these other games that people don't consider real gaming experience, so they're not very, very in-depth. I don't know. I think I've been a mobile gamer for the longer than I think. So,
I mean, does Tetris on Game Boy count as a mobile game?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was playing Tetris on Game Boy forever ago, right? Before we had phones. But that's still mobile, kind of. I mean, that kind of got you into the thought that you could play on the go. Which,
we're overlooking one major player in this, and a company that said that they're real.
Nintendo?
No, not Nintendo. Apple, because Apple has been, their vertical integration has been. They've brought along Apple Arcade, which has now been more, putting their game cap into a totally different segment from their App Store. And then on top of that, catering that particular arcade to their 4K television device, right? And that's a really big tie-in for them because they do have the cloud computing technology on the other side to make things like that work as well. And I'm still waiting to see them make some other moves in the not too distant future. So, voila, there we go. I think we've cleaned up this conversation pretty well. But
yeah, there's a whole lot. We covered a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, and you played a few. So James says I played a couple of board games on the phone, but never more than a couple of months. Then you get bored with them. Yeah. I can see myself as well getting bored with games that are stagnant, that kind of get stale. I was just commenting to Mike. Some of the games I keep playing that I played for years and years are games that continuously change. For some, I don't always agree, right? Better or worse. I'm thinking like, for example, I play World of Warships on PC, and the game has still had a bunch of big changes lately on how you play it and whatnot, and the balance. But I'm still playing that because it's not the same.
No, because each game
right?
is different.
If World of Warships was the same as it was 3 years ago, I would stop playing. I mean, easy, right?
Risk.
But that's the other thing with mobile games, right? They're mobile, right? They're literally mobile, so they have a data service. So you get updates. So the incentive is to make small updates more often, probably, than major updates. Less often. Keep your people interested with like maybe weekly events, which really ties into microtransactions as well. People like to have something that changes all the time. And a lot of these games, they want you to just log in and just, whether it's like tap and do something that's you need to do every hour.
Yeah.
They just want you to be interactive, and by doing that, they can hold your attention, and they get more of your, hopefully more of your money by the end. But that's not something that I ever would think of wanting to do on Xbox. You wouldn't. Back when I played Halo, it'd be like, well, I play for let's be honest, like 6 hours straight. But then when I turn it off, I don't think I need to log in every hour.
No, I get that. I just had horrible thought of the day. I had so much glee playing Playdemic before, the COVID breakout. And now I look at Playdemic, the game on my phone, and I'm like, boy, maybe that was a bad gaming choice. And, however, it's really popular on the gaming store. And then on top of that, it goes, hey, he mentioned board games and Risk. I've played Risk for forever. Against the computer on my iPad, and it's like one of my favorite pastimes, to play Risk. So there are some games that make that good jump, but you're 100% correct. In World of Warships, the hours that we've put in that game, and you've put in far more hours than I have. However, if you're tactical enough and you understand it, which I didn't 3 years ago, and that game used to frustrate me to hell. But once you understand the game and the play dynamics, I mean, I love getting in there with a good battleship and going toe to toe with people, because it's really, really great experience, because the game dynamic does change depending on how the entire map plays out. So that's also fun. We also, what was the other one we got into the other week? We're still playing with Enlisted.
Enlisted is that early access?
I think it's still early
or
access,
is it?
But that's another one that we've been into a little bit.
Yeah, Enlisted is a fun FPS game if you guys are interested in that. Free to play, by the way, also free to play. Oh yes, yeah. It's by Gaijin, the same company that makes War Thunder. And so it's a new game from them that they're trying, and it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. It's early access too. Yeah. I had to just refresh my memory, but yeah, it's early access.
You know what? I totally forgot. We got to talk about tomorrow. I'll bring it up again tomorrow. Don't let me forget.
What's up?
Top Gun is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. They're bringing a Top Gun Maverick version of aircraft carriers and whatnot, and I'm
really.
Yes, I thought I shared that with you last week, but you know what? I totally forgot I wanted to talk about it.
Don't remember.
But there's some other stuff that's got to come out on the sim. So if people don't know, also my racing simulator also does. I do have a side stick for it that's force feedback and a HOTAS, and I do some DCS flying. Some of the jets in there. But I'm also going to be looking forward to doing flight simming against, I guess, Maverick and some sort of combat that they're going to introduce in the next iteration, and I think that's coming in the fall.
So let's see, July.
Is it July? No.
27th. July 27th. There's an update. And that looks like part of the Top Gun thing.
Is it really July?
This trailer says July.
Hold on. Let me. Now that I've opened up Pandora's box, let's do this. Here you go.
I'm trying to find an exact date. It's not telling me.
Hold on a second.
Peck says he can't wait for the Top Gun stuff to come out. Yeah. That seems really cool. No, I hadn't heard about this yet. Maybe this trailer.
No, I got the new one playing right now.
June 13th. That's not old. Nope. That's 10 days ago. But at the minute marker, a minute 40, it says 27th of July.
Well, that's weird. So I gotta do more homework on that one. We'll talk about that one tomorrow.
Yeah,
there's more to come on that conversation, because that's one of the things that I was excited about, and I totally forgot with everything else going on this week. So we got more to discuss. All right, folks. I think that just about wraps it up for us today. You got anything else to add today?
No, man, I'm good.
We are good.
Yeah, good.
As always, oh boy, I can't wait for the Top Gun stuff to come out. I know. Yeah, for sure. Hey, guys, thanks for the chat. Thanks for the comments. We appreciate it. We got more stuff to bring you tomorrow. We'll see what we get ourselves into. And we hope you have a great day. And with that said, we're gonna take off and have a good one. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, take it easy. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Yeah. Peace. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, this outro needs to change. It's too quiet. Yeah, well, you know, it takes too long. It takes too long to ramp up. Thanks, Brad. Brad says, "Good show, guys. Thank you."
Yep. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Smooth sounds of Harris. You know, it could have been a DJ. Meh. Who knows?
Meh.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Take care. Have a great day.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.